Welcome guys, welcome. We're going to be playing some more Distant Worlds 2 today. I thought I'd just roll on from yesterday's stream and continue on where we left off. And you can see there's a few expansions, DLCs, Shadow Rising not installed yet. But it's on its way. This is of course I think this is actually, well, I'm assuming this is going to be the pirate update. We still actually have the, so we've got the new Haakonish and as well as the Tekken free update, which actually is available if you do play the open beta. So if you're playing the base game, you won't have that available, but we are playing with that open beta, just so we have access to the new, well, not new factions, but the reworked factions. They're the last of the originals that have now sort of been coming back in. There's still some more factions to be released as well. There's a few more to be done. There is Zaradan's redeemed a custom reward. A scientist. Do we actually have a scientist? We do actually have a scientist for you. And the scientist is actually living on a. I think he's living on a place which is in a fair bit of danger. So I'll change the name across and we'll sort of see how things go. We're in the early phase of the game. One thing I didn't do a good job of yesterday was the immersion aspect of the actual game. I didn't really sort of talk much about who the Haakonish are and what they're doing. I just went through the numbers basically of trying to sort of move forward. So I'll try to do a better job today of trying to sort of set the scene a little bit as to what we're trying to achieve in the medium and long terms as well. Hi Began, how are you going? So I hope you guys don't mind me doing these back-to-back videos. I know that sometimes it's sort of you're punished a little bit, particularly on YouTube when you do this. But anyway, it's I do love this game. So what we're going to be doing is I'm pretty sure that the one science location we have, I think, is in the Gilgamesh system. I think. Let's have a bit of a look and see. Oh no, it's back over here. It's a fair way away, and we do actually have a scientist on board. You can see that scientist is going to be Zaradan. So we go across to our scientists. It's the only scientist we actually have at this stage. We're still early game. So Zaradan. Now, the drama for Zaradan is that the scientists can be stolen. Like basically, they can be taken from the locations. So if we have a look at which one is it? Where is he? Let's just go back to the research stations again. There it is. So this is the research station inside an asteroid belt. So we've got an asteroid belt in through here. We got the Yucca research station. We're going to need more research stations as we find them. We haven't found any others just yet. But this one here is actually now, essentially, this one here has got a 12% high-tech research benefit, plus whatever Zaradan actually does do. But this is a fairly isolated location, and in wars in particular, they can be destroyed, and then the scientists can be then stolen. So we have to be careful. And if that happens, Zaradan is going to end up being banned. Which is what happens when we play a DasTactic game, of course. If you are interested, if you're watching this on YouTube and thinking, oh, okay, I wouldn't mind doing that, just bounce across to Twitch. There's a point system over there where you can actually then accrue points for redeeming points, where you can actually have different characters named or different ships named, things like that. For example, Began has got the flagship of our first fleet, and we'll keep on adding more. What I'm going to do actually, when we do actually have named ships like that, I'm going to, as we get destroyers, I'll then and start to put destroyers into those fleets. I'll take those named ships and keep on upgrading them to better and better ships, just so that they don't stay stagnant through the game. Zaradan saying I like to live dangerously. Yes, well, it's the pirates are going to be raiding as well. So we do have to protect this a little bit. We would have had to anyway, because scientists are going to be a little bit hard for us to come by. If we have a look at the scientists down in through here, researching in through here. And so it does actually have already, it comes with another 3% of high-tech research. So Zaradan is actually is well suited for this particular research station. So that's ultimately going to give us plus 15% in high-tech research, which would be good. At the moment, we're just trying to go and get the planetary governance, which we're going to get in a couple of years. We've got a crash research program with that one through there. The money situation is very, very good. We are playing as a mercantile guild. I'll talk about that as we sort of get into it, but I will try this today to actually maybe present a little bit more about who we are playing and the way that we want to play. It's essentially like the Mercantile Guild from Star Wars, or even from the Dune universe. That's sort of the way, probably more the Dune universe is the way I want to be playing as the Haakonish into the long term. And so one thing I didn't actually have a look at was what resources we have and what we've actually found. What I want to be doing is I want to be getting and cornering the market on the high level luxury resources. So if we just go across and filter by luxury goods, and have a bit of a look to see if we know of any sort. Yeah, there we go, 0 to 1 sources. So we know that there's Zentabia fluid somewhere. Let's have a look and see where that is. This is the sort of stuff that we go to war over, playing as a mercantile guild. So these, I'm using a mod that colors the background of the actual resources, which makes it a bit easier to see. When we see a gold background resource, that means that we are going to, it's essentially going to be extremely high level. Where is it? It's way over here. So this is a resource that we want to control. So we'll actually try to make this what we actually end up doing in this particular location today. We have the Artooks have got control of it at the moment. We can see that there's 30 million in this system already, and the reason we know this is we've actually stolen the tech, we've stolen the maps from this particular group. We've got Gizarians back over through here as well, I think. Actually, that's another Haakonish location, I think. Or is that one of ours? Oh, that's a traveller. Okay, that's all right. I thought it was a mining station. I thought, wow, what's that doing over there? I think this is the Gizarians back out this other side. Anyway, this one here, we do actually have the Zentabia fluid is in here somewhere. There it is, and this is now being mined by the Artooks. So the Artooks are mining this particular resource, and so they'll be getting the benefit from this, and we want that. If we're a mercantile guild, we deserve it. We must have it. So we're going to be playing a little bit more aggressively. The Haakonish are not a pleasant faction. They're not sort of, it's sort of like the mercantile aspect of it is, it's not about open trade and lots of stuff. I mean, we do have open trade, but ultimately it's going to be about subterfuge and cornering markets and making sure that we capture these sorts of things. So that's going to be sort of certainly what we're going to be wanting to do. Just go back in and grab that again. I'll just deselect that one. So Zentabia fluid, that's good that we actually now have got one of those. There's 2 more big resources which are very, very rare. We don't know about Loris fruit, so we don't have any of those, and we don't have any spice either. So, but we do actually have the Zentabia fluid. If I hover over this one, you can see plus 24% colony development, plus 10% colony happiness, plus 50% troop recovery rate, and plus 3% plague curing. So it's a potent healing fluid made from the rare Zentabia flower. So this is actually what we want to be cornering. So this is going to be something that we will aim for. We can do this in different ways. And we actually have another interesting aspect over through here. We have a faction in here, which is actually an independent faction of Ketarovs, I think is what they are. We have a bit of a look and see. This is at Nithos, which is a grassland planet. And so there's actually 430 million of these. If we took this planet, and because it is independent, so it's one that we could invade, and even though it's inside the territory of the Artooks, I don't think there's any real problem with us doing that. That would then give us borders in this region, and most likely ultimately allow us to then capture this region of space. So not so much towards their capital. Their capital may still extend out beyond this one, but over the long haul, we should be able to then start to at least get a right to it if we control this particular world. So what I think we'll do is we'll set up an invasion of this world, just so we can actually then go and grab it. So the Ketarovs don't like us, so there's a natural dislike there between them. Off with their head, says Began, absolutely. But the Artooks, If we do end up at war with them, what I then want to do is I want to strangle their economy, so they have to buy from me. So we're going to be playing this one as a very ruthless sort of mercantile type guild. Anyway, this is what I love about this game, is we end up with these, and I didn't see this yesterday for the simple reason I wasn't immersing myself in the actual game. I was just going through the motions, because we do actually have a lot of pirates that we have to destroy. But we're getting our money situation is improving all the time, so we can start to do other things and start to sort of prepare for other bits and pieces. So if we end up at war with the Artuks, so this will be a longish term aspect of trying to then control this. So we'll sort of see how we go. I'm thinking we'll have to ultimately end up at war with them. We can have a look to see what they've actually got, because we've got now. Actually, have we got an ambassador here? I think I did send an ambassador across to their home world. Let's have a look and see. So we've got the Emperor. They've then got a whole lot of different sort of Ewok-style characters, generals and so on and so forth. A spy. There's an admiral there. Ambassador. And there's our ambassador. Kudos Nobrili is the ambassador to the particular group. And if we have a look at him, he doesn't have any skills yet, so he's untested. But hopefully he will then also be able to sort of cement our who we are in this particular region. We can see there that they've got like a fairly strong army group, but then when you have a look at the actual attack strength and defense strength of these particular groups, we're looking at 78 attack strength and 117 defense strength. These ones in through here, these battle roller troops, are going to be better. So they defend at 168 and attack at 170. So these ones actually are fairly strong. They'll end up with more and more of these, of course. But ultimately, we can try to take over, essentially all their operations. So I think we'll start to work with that in mind. It won't be through subterfuge. It will have to be through combat eventually. But initially, we don't have to worry too much about it. But I think we'll actually aim for taking out this particular location. If that's the Gizarians, they will also be looking at this particular location as well. So we'll need to get across there. With that in mind, I'm going to set up an invasion force, and we'll then sort of move across to claim that particular one. So we will, and I was thinking of doing this anyway, just like to sort of take on the pirates, but I think this is going to be sort of more important. There's a lot of pirates in this particular game. So we'll just go across into our military tabs, go to the fleet templates and fleet creation, and we do actually have an invasion fleet there as a default fleet. I'm just going to go and edit this one. So what I want to do is I want to have, maybe I will actually, I'll allow one fuel tanker. Troop transports, I probably only need like a handful of them. Maybe 4 would actually be enough. I don't have any destroyers, so I'll just get rid of those. And then the frigates that I've got, I'll actually just include 2 frigates for now. So that will be this particular fleet. This will be the essentially the latest design for the hull of the frigate. Troop transport, I'll allow that to just be whatever the largest hull for the role is in this case, and then the fuel tanker, whatever that is as well. That can just be where we are. The fleet engagement range is going to be the same system. Even nearby, actually. I don't really want them wandering off, so I'm going to go nearby as a default, and that's all going to be okay. One thing I forgot to do with the other one as well is trim excess ships is enabled by default. I want to disable that one just so I can actually add more ships to them, and I need to do that as well with the other fleets that we actually have. If I just go back, the defense fleet is the only other one that we're actually doing at this stage. So we'll just disable that trim excess ship. So the current fleets that we're using is 4 frigates, 2 escorts, and 1 troop transport. Mainly to try to take over enemy ships. Anyway, that's sort of where we are. So, actually, what I might do, I'm going to change the way that I structure things, because what we've done is we've designed a ship which is an assault transport. And what we want to ultimately do is actually go back and have so we want 2 designs, one for assaulting enemy ships and one for taking over enemy planets. So I'm just going to go back into my ship designs, and have another look in through here. So we end up having, and again, we should remember what you've done as you like, from session to session. But the troop transport is down the bottom through here, which is a manual design. We've got 3 of these in our empire at this stage. We've got 3 different fleets where that sort of is taking part. So if you have a look at the assault transport, I've got the assault transport. Now, if I go and do an upgrade, it's going to then make this one become inactive, like it'll actually then become obsolete. So I don't want to be doing that one. What I want to do is I want to copy as new in through here, and it may still make it obsolete. If that's the case, I need to go back and manually change this. So copy as new, because we're going to be, this is actually, I should point out, this is actually a more complex way of dealing with the game. This one will do your head in. So, I don't recommend this for people who are new to the game, because what's going to happen is we're going to have to then really micromanage the way that we upgrade our fleets. So I'll sort of go through how that one works. So the assault transport is currently set for automatic retrofits and active. I'm going to edit that one. Actually, I'll build the next one, then I'll go back through and go through all the little things we have to tweak, which again, the game, this is not base game stuff. This is sort of like much more advanced than what you need to be actually doing. But if we just go and copy as new, I'm going to call this one an invader transport. So this is going to be having a different role. Invader transport, and this will be just our version 1 of this particular one. This one has come in with a whole lot of different assault pods, and I don't need that many. So I'm just going to right-click on some of the assault pods. I need to have at least one. If you see, I've got 3 recommendations. If I get rid of the last assault pod, there's now 2 defects. So must have assault pods to launch invasion troops, and must have assault pods to launch. So we need to actually have the 2 defects of the same thing. In essence, what we need to do here is to have the assault pods are used to transport the troops to the ground. So we need as many assault pods as we actually have troop transports. So so we'll have to add in a couple more assault pods. So I'm just going to have to put in 2 back in through there. We shouldn't need to have. We've got 2 cruise systems. I'm going to ditch one of the cruise systems. So we just get rid of that one completely. And we'll then just go back into the troop transports, which are actually large. Now I just want to go back down to, this is actually, again, I wish I would remember, and I wish the default was what I'm going to set this one to. So the first one here is what we see. This is the filter, and then this is the sort. So I don't want to filter by all components, particularly as we go into getting more and more tech. It becomes unwieldy. So I want to go to the latest per category and family. It just means I end up with more than just latest per category. The category, I'll just show you what I mean. Like if I go to the category, each of these 3-letter words, or they're not really acronyms, but anyway, these are the categories. So we only see the most recent of each one of them. So we should only see, essentially we've got a couple of different things in through here, like WSTs and stuff like that. But these are, in this case, the category, actually, this is standoff weapons missiles, this is standoff weapons torpedoes. This one sort of is getting around around what it's telling us. But if I go to latest category and then family, I should end up with more in here. Actually, I didn't really. It seemed to do the same thing, which I'm actually not uncomfortable with, to be honest, because the family is in that. So I don't know why it was doing that one before, but in this case we actually have a couple of close-in weapons. We've got blasters and railguns. They're both WCLs. There's another one there, Thuan beams. That's beams. So we've got blasters, beams, and railguns. They're the family. So if we go back in and now go to the Bay type category, family, and then size, we're then going to have even, like all of those will then be positioned together. So all of the standoff weapons will be together, all of the intercept weapons will be together. These are all our point defense. All of the close-in beams and stuff will all be together as well. So we then actually have a better way of presenting this. Now, I'm not going to really need this one much for combat. So at the moment, what's on my ship, I've got an iron cannon. I'm going to ditch that and just leave the 1 sentinel. So we've got 1 sentinel beam at the back. I want to get sort of like a fair bit of space on board here. The troop compartments, you can see there, these are size 50, so they do chew up a lot of space. And we've got 3 empty slots. That's up to 488 already. So if I've got now 2 troop transports and 2 assault pods. If I get another one, I'm now over by 38. So what can I get rid of? If I get rid of fuel cells, I'm not going to be able to transport them any sort of distance, so that's not really going to be a good idea. I don't think there's anything else we can do. I think we're going to have to ditch one of the troop compartments. I do need to have as many assault pods really as like I want to be getting troops on the ground pretty quickly. So if I've got 2 troop compartments, I'll just get rid of that one and then just go and add one just so that they're at least together. So I'll just sort of put them so that at least we can sort of see where they actually are. I wish that this would sort actually. That would be good if it did sort on the internals. I think there's much else we can do there. It does give me, I might be able to get another engine. Yeah, I can throw 8 over now. I'll just ditch one engine and get a thrust vector just for maneuverability. It takes us, we're now 6 under. The engines sort of stack, but the thrust vector doesn't give you any extra bonuses really, I don't think. So I'll just leave that one where that is. Short range sensor array is okay. The sentinel beam is fine. I'll just leave that one where that is. I think that'll do us actually for now. As time goes on, we'll get bigger and bigger assault transports. So it's only marginally better than the other ones, but let's just do this anyway. So the invader transport. Now what I want this one to do is I want this one to be neutral and cautious is fine against stronger targets. I want it to retreat when the shield's below 50% or any armor damage. We may want to just go in and just go and have them attack no matter what, just so they don't turn back. So I can actually go this one. So this one is naturally going to be trying to run away. I think we'll do it when any non-defense component is damaged. It's a bit of a tricky one. I mean, you can have it so that they never run away. I might do this one here. Yeah, I'll just do the 2050 again. And invade colonies immediately. So this one here, we want this one to actually punch through initial attacks for when they do go in to invade planets. And this is where it may be worth changing what they do with their retreats. And even have it so that you've got to break through into the hull to be able to cause them to actually turn around. But shields below 50% means you can turn them around pretty readily. But then if they keep on going and then get destroyed, that's going to then essentially mean that we may not be able to, we then lose all of the troops on board as well. I think 2050 will be okay. The reason I'm thinking that is that we actually do have 2 armor and 2 shield generators in there as well on the actual design itself. So I'm happy with all of that. So we'll just go and save and exit. So with the invader transport. Now, actually, one thing here. So this design upgrades to, and you can see down through here, it's got the latest design. And now I'm just going to save it initially, save and exit. I'm then going to come back through. You can see there that they're both still active, the ones that I've actually got through there. So the assault transport is back up through here. I'm at 480 there. Yeah, that's actually still okay. I was just thinking of trying to get even more assault transports on that particular one there, on that assault transport. But the invader transport is going to be a bit different. If I go now back to my assault transport and go to edit, even though I've got existing ones, I can then still set the upgrade path for what this one then goes and does. So latest design for the largest hull for the role, which is the invader transport. That's not what I want it to upgrade to. When there's an upgrade, I only want it to go to the specific one, which is not showing up in here. I'm going to go none for starters. We need to actually establish this. I may need to just run the game forward a little bit. I'll just save and exit. So I'm just going to have no upgrade at this stage. So we'll save and exit that one, because otherwise it's going to automatically want to go off and set itself up as an invader transport. And if I just go and edit this one here, I want this one to, actually this one is trying to now set itself up as an assault transport. I'll go none there as well. It should show both. All right, it's always a bit convoluted doing this, but let's just now unpause the game just for a little bit of time. And what we'll now do is, I just want to see if that will actually then go and do anything. So we'll just let the game run forward a little bit. Go back to our ship designs, assault transport, and edit. Can we change it now? No, it's only going to show the invader transport. It should show. I'm going to have to manually do these, unfortunately. So I'll save and exit that one, and I'll just come back into this one here and just go to edit. So this will always be the largest design for the latest hull will be the invader transport there. Yeah, so we've got the hull, the roll, etc. So we're sort of sharing all of these different aspects of this particular craft, unfortunately. And so it'll allow me to upgrade to a specific one. I think I'll just keep it on none, and then we'll that way we'll just have to manually sort of go and do it at the time. So it's a bit more hands-on with what we're doing, but we'll save and exit this one through here. Now what we want to do is we want to go and set up our actual fleet templates again properly. So the defense fleet, if I go and edit this one, has got a troop transport, which is an assault transport, which I had designated yesterday when I set this one up. So that's the specific type of troop transport that we have for the defense fleets. So we'll leave that one where that is, and then we'll just go into the invasion fleets, go and edit. And so for the troop transports here, we want to make sure that we are using the invader transports. So the invader transports there. Very, very specific. So we want to be specific about the type of troop transport that we're going to actually have in through there. So that will be the second type of fleet that we end up having. So let's now go and set one of those up. So we have 67,000. If I go back into here, we can see there that to get an invasion fleet is going to cost me 37,000. The defence fleets are a little bit more at 43,000 because we've got sort of like bigger ships and things in there. So we'll go and establish one of those. If I go back into my fleet templates, invasion fleet, I can form a new fleet using different ships at different locations, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go and build a new invasion fleet at Mitrani 3 Spaceport. So we'll go and do that one, and that then has now queued up these ships. So with what's actually happening in through there. So we've got the fuel tanker will sort of be added in. I'm going to go and set this one up now as control group number 4, so control 4, so that when I press the number 4 key, I've then got access to it. So that will then be built. Now it's got to invade targets nearby, only a very, very small range. Now they're not going to be auto-invading. I'm going to be doing that one manually, so this will be pretty much in manual control as soon as we sort of get it established. The next thing we need to do is make sure that we've got troops for the invasions. So we'll just go back into Mitrani 3, and we can see there we've got like a gravity brigade, which is our armour, and we want to then go and manage more troops. So we want to go and add in probably 3 more of these. If we've got 4, I'll go and grab 4, and then we want to clone in the other ones. These are the clone troops that we end up having. So I'm just going to go and start to build a bit of an invasion force there. We've got different protection forces in around here just to fight the pirates, and we do actually have a group over here waiting to fight pirates in the Haakonish system. Now, if we start to get raided over through here, I'm going to send a fleet out to protect the scientist. We really don't want to be losing the scientist. There's also a human colony out here, and this is actually a colony I wouldn't mind getting hold of as well. So we'll probably do 2 invasions. We'll do this invasion and this invasion as well. Anyway, let's unpause and just let the game run forward. But it's this sort of it's this very specific thinking that I love about this game, where you don't know what opportunities you're going to have. Like if this was like a Boscaran group or something like this, we know that we're going to be fighting much more difficulty. The trouble we're going to have is just how readily these things can settle into different colonies. So they're going to be all over the place. They're going to be a bit annoying. So we do want to try to... okay, we've now got Gilgamesh is under attack. If you just go to show me. So this one here is too far away for us to then go and help out. Lots of pirates there. I'm just really waiting at one location. I can't just keep on going off everywhere. New mining station is now completed as well. We'll just keep on building these. The pirates will then just keep on raiding to try to get money and stuff. So they'll invade that one. And these are all operating from this location. So when we get big enough, we will actually take that one out. So it's now being boarded. As soon as the shields come down, they then board. Beacon saying I have them kamikaze in. Yeah, we won't need to with this other one. We're just going to be able to literally arrive at the planet and drop with what we end up having. Let's just go and turn that one off. So all of our combat ships are in fleets. Now these are pirate ships. I love this aspect as well. This is much more different to. I'll just pause it there and we'll talk about what we're seeing through here. So we've actually had like a raid that had come into the Haakonish system. We had destroyed one pirate ship. We need to slowly destroy more and more of them because there's a heap of them. This particular pirate faction is quite strong. As we go through space, and Distant Worlds 1 didn't ever do this, these little ships in through here, like there's a light hauler here. There's actually two of them, plus there's the unknown ship that's there as well. But if we go and have a look at this one, which is called the Vasoko Fury. But if we have a look, and we don't know much about it, we'll find out in just a minute. But we have a couple of, actually that one there is not the one I wanted. I'll just go to the Daunting Wanderer. So the Daunting Wanderer is coming in to pick up goods to then take it back to the homeworld, way back over here at the Matrani system. So if I have a quick look at that particular transport, so it's just a small freighter on its way to pick up goods, and so it's actually transporting cargo from Haakonish 2 mining station to Matrani 3 spaceport. So that's its actual mission, and we don't have any control over what it does there. So it's going to a mining station that we are now protecting. So it's going back in there. But if we have a look at the actual what this one does have, it does have a short range sensor array. And I showed this one yesterday as well, just the way it sort of does work. And so it's got a scanning power of 100 at a scanning range of 1M. So anything within 1M range, it will start to then pick up detail. And so even in space, that's still operating. And so there's this ship coming in close. And if I just go and press the Alt key, click, and then click and drag out, it's already, this thing is now just coming into its 1M range. So that's a 1M range there from that ship. As it gets closer and passes it, at around about, say, 400, it'll identify it. So if I just go and really make this one go slow at, say, 1/8 speed, maybe quarter speed, there we go. At that point, that sensor has now picked up what this thing actually is. And so we can see this is actually a pirate frigate, and we have the detail about it. And so these are coming back from that particular raid, and so they're bypassing the ships. And so we see a lot of this happen in the game where they sort of pass in the night, but they will be able to see each other. So that they can't really interact with each other, but they can just, as they pass through hyperspace, they at least can sort of see what's going on. And it's just an interesting little aspect about the game. Again, makes it much more immersive, the way it sort of does work that way. I'll just go back up to normal speed. And it then goes outside of range. We then lose sight of it completely. Here comes another one, another pirate ship coming back to its base of operations, which is back over here. And again, we'll just keep on seeing more and more as they go past our ships. Yantra 1 is now under attack. Let's have a look and see what this one is. So we've got lots of pirate attacks coming in. Yantra 1 is back on this side. So we've got pirates in all different locations. Now we've got a few different fleets. I've got the first fleet, which is operating down here in the Haakonish system. I've got the second fleet, which is defending targets in the Matrani 3, the same system as Matrani. So we've got that one through there. This one here is also just the same, any targets inside the same system over here. Then we've got a third fleet, which has just been building up. This one's a bit more extended, so this one goes out a little bit further to then sort of be able to sort of protect the areas a little bit out away from the actual planets themselves. But we'll just let that one go through. And now we've got the fourth, which is going to be slowly sort of building up. So we'll just let the game run forward. Excuse me. Yes, I definitely want this. The Gizarians will want it as well. So there will be a lot of interaction about that particular world there. Discovery. So we've actually now found Obduran Amber. So this is more luxury goods. Again, more pirates going back to their base. So this is their base in here. We will actually have some buildings going on, but this is actually what ultimately, and we can sort of see that there's ships wandering around here. We don't have clear vision, but we do actually have clear vision on the actual spaceport itself. I will be wanting to take that one out, but I'm going to need a much bigger fleet than just these little fleets that we've got currently. So I have to build we'll probably upgrade one of our other fleets to manage that. If you're playing with the, if you're new to the game as well, I would advise you to go and get the new beta, version of the game. You just essentially lock into that one through Steam, and then you'll actually have the beta. One thing it does do is it does actually help new players a lot more than what it did previously, and even like players who play the game a lot. Like, it's funny looking at the at what people have been, like the Steam reviews and what people actually say about the game. There's a lot of, I read them and they just don't resonate with me at all. Like, it's what people actually say, and I think that they've done a great job now of actually addressing a lot of what people's problems actually are. Now, the Deadly Gangsters, I'm not going to be going with any that are not Haakonish. So we've already got one faction that we are paying money to. You can see our money situation is sort of just dribbling along at this stage. Mining station has been boarded in there. Red Moon Invaders, we'll dismiss that one. Base raided, and they just stole some credits. Now we'll have to get rid of these pirates. This will be a sort of like an ongoing thing that we need to do. There's another faction that we now are aware of. Slowly building this up. We've got one frigate now built, another one on its way. New construction ship completed. So we've got a lot of building queues going on in here. We do have resource shortages. We might have a quick look and see if there's anything that's critical that we need to look out for. No, they're all okay. They're actually not too bad. That's actually, in terms of building things, nothing's really going to be slowing us down. So we've got 3 fleets now building up around the Matrani, like in the Matrani system, to get ready for everything that we have to then go and do. Yantra 1 under attack again. New frigate completed. I'm sort of letting the pirates do what they want to do out here until I'm strong enough to take them on. I can afford to have one fleet just trying to protect things, so I've got the first fleet back out there. Sid is saying, hey Daz, I brought Dismods 2 a while back and I'm trying to get into it. I downloaded Tom's guide and I'm using it as a jumping off point. Yeah, that's a very good guide actually. It's well written. It's sort of one of those things. I think with the game, the big thing in the game is to let the game just treat it as a simulation and not as a 4X game. I think people come into this game having come from games like Stellaris, for example, and this is not Stellaris by any stretch. Very, very different. This is as much as if you're watching an aquarium and things happening in an aquarium as it is actually playing the game itself. Whereas the other games are much more about the strategy in a almost like a board game sort of sense. Anyway, we have Discovery there. That's going to be okay. We've got now here we go. We've now got. I'll just go back in. We've now got an attack coming in with a pirate. There's a pirate raid coming in this way, coming up against this mining station. Our defence fleet in through here that we've actually now placed in here is now coming in to attack the this one here, which is actually a pirate frigate. The goal for us is to actually capture these ships, not to destroy them. The first goal is to capture them. Second goal is just to destroy them. So if we can't capture them, we have to destroy because there's just so many of them. If there was only, say, if the pirate faction only had 3 or 4 ships, I'd be going out of my way to capture them all and not really trying to destroy them at all. But in this case, we've got so many of them, we either have to capture or destroy. So with our first fleet, we'll see there we've actually got like a boarding assault strength there of 413, which is our maximum. This may not be enough for us to do what we need to do, but I'm going to give the reason I've got like an assault transport in amongst these fleets is to give them the assault aspect, the boarding assault strength, to try to capture these ships if we can. So I'm going to right click on this one, and I'm going to go and tell it to capture the Angry Gauntlet. Now there's a lot of, when you do these long right clicks, there's a lot of stuff you can actually do in here. Prepare an attack is sort of like the default, and prepare means get the fleet together and then do an attack. So if I do an prepare an attack, I'm essentially just giving an attack order because the fleet is all together anyway. So we don't need to prepare for an attack. So that would be, it was essentially just default to attack the Angry Gauntlet. If I prepare and capture or capture, because again they're all together, then what they're going to try to do is to attack it until the shielding goes down, and then they will try to put troops on board. So I'm going to go and tell it to capture if it can. We'll see what actually happens. Now on board this one, we've actually got a general who is actually coming in. I'm going to move the general across ultimately. I'll probably end up that one going back to the 4th, I think. I don't need that one to be part of what's going on through here. Troop recruitment rating, I don't need this one here on this particular one. I'm going to now make this particular character manually controlled, and I'm going to tell him to go to the 4th Invasion Fleet. So we'll transfer him out. So he will now just have to transfer. It's sort of this is a bit abstracted. They don't go off in little shuttles, which I think would be awesome if they did. That would be capturable. That would be fantastic. But in this case, they essentially sort of, it's abstracted as if they're going off on a shuttle somewhere, like back to the other ship. Anyway, the First Fleet has now been given an order to capture the Angry Gauntlet. Now, the Angry Gauntlet is trying to raid this particular mining station. Now, there's most likely going to be there's other ones coming in as well. So, as you can see, there's more pirate ships all around it, and they'll be coming in to do more raids. These pirate factions have got, they've also got good assault strength. So if we have a bit of a look to see what they end up having. This one doesn't actually, it's got, splinter pods are like a high level assault pod. This particular pirate group is controlled by the by Ikaru pirates, which Ikaru are sort of like primate type aliens, and we're like amphibian type aliens. But anyway, they've got like and one of their big strengths is these splinter pods. So that's actually on the pirate ships. Can't wait for the new pirate DLC to come out. Actually, that's going to be awesome. They also have these living hulls. So in this case, their damage repair is very, very strong. So we need to get in and do some big damage. So against that, well, let's just have a bit of a look. I'll just go to half speed and just talk a little bit about what's going to happen here. Now you can see there we're inside the range of whatever the longest range that they've actually got for their ships. They've got fusion beams, a medium fusion beam at range 1300, and they've got a sentinel beam at 950. Now the sentinel beam is point defense, whereas the fusion beam is a medium size close-in beam weapon. And so the fusion beam is actually fires from the back of the ship. So this is actually an unusual sort of thing. It's going to have to turn to use this beam. So it's not going to be able to fire at us initially other than through the sentinel beam. And so it will use that a little bit, which means we have a big advantage against these particular ships as we close in on them. It's only if they end up being able to turn around, and at this stage it wants to go and raid the actual station, so it has to get past us before this becomes operational. Not sure why they used that one there. I thought there would have been other hard points that they could have actually made better use of, but anyway, that's sort of like a feature of what they have there. Again, the difference between Age of Wonders 1 is that it's just was always you could fire at 360 degrees. Now we actually have these fields of fire, which are quite interesting. So you can see there's a blind spot anywhere from this quadrant here. Really can't. So like the starboard bow, and around into that location here is cannot be like this one. This ship cannot attack anything that comes from that particular quarter. So there's certainly some interesting things there that we can sort of have a look at. Now they've got 2 shields and 1 standard armor in through here. So they've got Deflection Shield Generator version 2, which is sort of like beyond what we end up having. You can see there's a few different things to do with the shields. So just as I'll just talk in a bit of depth about the detail with this one. Hi Freya Geist, how are you going? And Cranium Brud is saying, I have a question. When will the economy trickle down? I'm getting tired of refreshing my bank account. It does all the time. The important thing with it is not to tweak it too much and just to let it happen. It does take, and don't try to take things that are too far away. Now we're going to be doing that. We're going to actually be capturing something that's too far away, but I'm not investing too much in the infrastructure of that particular location. So I don't need to, like, I'm still only going to be one jump away from pretty much when we take over these other planets, but it is going to stretch our empire out a little bit, which is going to make things a little bit more tricky. So I'll talk about the economy. I will just do this combat, and then if I do forget, just remind me. I'll come back and answer the question in more detail about the economy. The economy is one of the things that do frustrate people, because the economy is actually not. It's not abstracted in any sense at all. It literally, it all comes from the it all has to be transported. So the closer in your big planets are, the better off your economy will be. As they get stronger and stronger, you can get further and further out and have the economy still working out okay. But it does take time. So it's sort of one of the aspects. Again, it's a simulation game where everything has to be done, so like where every element has to be at a location to get the use of it. Anyway, we'll talk about that after the combat. So we've got the so this particular one, as it's sort of coming back in. Let's just exit out of this one. We end up having a ship. Our main ship is this deal breaker frigate. And if I have a quick look at this one through here. The big aspect we have here is we've got one large deal breaker beam. So this is actually a large weapon, size 57. So it actually takes up a large percentage of the actual of the ship itself, more than 10%, which is a lot for a single weapon. But this one, as we have a look down and see what it actually then can go and do, this one also has a long range at 1650. If I just go and exit this one, you can see there that this is the outside of our beam. And so this ship is now inside our beam range. I don't think we've attacked it at all. No, we haven't actually tried to attack it yet. We'll now be spooling up that beam. So there's like a cooldown of it. If I just hover over that deal breaker beam again, we can see a few different things through here. This is a full length beam. This one is coming off from here. And again, we can't fire it from anywhere. If any ship that approaches from over this angle around to that angle, we can't actually reach it. We can only reach it when it's on the starboard side. So our ship will waggle a little bit to actually then get that beam to be able to then fire. So we've got that on one side. We also have an iron cannon on the other side. So the iron cannon is over here. So I'll just go and show you there. There it is there. And it's also got a 180-degree area. This one has only got like a range of 900, about the same as the Sentinel multi-beam. The Sentinel multi-beam is in the top here with a 360-degree. This can actually fire at any angle, but this is mainly for firing and trying to shoot down missiles and also fighter craft. That's really what it's there for. But the deal breaker beam is the secret source that we end up having. It's the one thing that the Haakonish actually have as their own unique weapon. And so it's actually the second, there's now a new one that's come in as well with this new update. But the deal breaker beam, when we have a look at, see what this one can actually then go and do. So it does a lot of damage there at 52. Now you see there the actual damage rate is considered to be low at 2.08. But ultimately it ends up doing a lot more than that. It does only half damage at maximum range, which means we need to close in. So I've given it orders, like all the ships in here have been told to go aggressive. So with this setting in through here, it means that aggressive means going as close as you can and try to fire at point blank, which is what this beam likes to do. So this deal breaker beam likes to be fired very, very close to the enemy. Then we actually have like weak bombardment aspects, so it's not very good at bombarding planets. But then where it really does come in through very, very well is it's got like weapon countermeasures plus 72, but weapon targeting is low, so it is not going to be all that effective, like again at targeting the enemy weapons, the targeting aspect. The point blank accuracy is 72%, which again is fairly low. Like if I have a look at the iron cannon, for example, that's the point blank accuracy there is 80%. And so in this case, it's not the best, and maximum range accuracy is only 54%. So we're going to be missing a lot with this weapon. But when it does hit, there's the next little section down through there. The range is long. The damage fall off is high, which is why it sort of is so weak at maximum range. The speed is immediate. It is a beam weapon. But the shield bypass, when it actually hits a shield, 30% of the damage bleeds through onto the armor, and then 75% of the armor of that it then bleeds through into the hull. So when we do get a shot, and again the accuracy is a problem for us, when we do get a shot, we end up doing damage pretty much straight through onto the hull, which is actually massive. This allows us to sort of then start to do bigger damage, and it is sort of like diminishing returns. Let's just say that we end up doing, say, say 30 damage. Like if we're almost at maximum range, we actually hit with 30 actual base damage. There's a few other little calculations, like, there's actually sort of like reactive ratings and stuff like that, which will then bleed off a few points. But let's just say 30 points goes in. 30% of that is going to ultimately bleed through onto the hull, so 10 damage onto the armor, and then 75% of that is going to then bleed through onto the actual into the ship itself, which means about 7 points of damage will then go through onto the actual hull itself. So of the 30 that we did, 7 is going straight through into the white components, and so essentially you can then start to damage these. So if we have enough of these, we can actually really do some big damage to ships, no matter what the actual ship actually is. So this is an incredibly important weapon. Very, very inaccurate. So we also then have different things, for example, like the target tracking system. So we instead of going and trying to avoid being hit, we want to try to enhance our targeting. So our targeting goes up by 15%. Starfield generator, I think we get countermeasures there with that one through there, but we do want to sort of add this one into what we then can go and do. Anyway, that's the ship hidden through here. This is actually our this is at the moment our best ship. I'll just go and exit. And so if I just go and I'll just play this out at half rate, and we'll just sort of see what actually happens. So and again we're seeing it's firing from that from the port side. That's the sentinel beam trying to hit our ship, and it hit it very. Like if I just go back to the other one, you can see our actual shielding is 384 when it hasn't been hit. This one's been hit minusculely by that particular weapon. This is not really designed for taking down enemy ships. This is designed for taking out missiles. Now there's another one that we're now firing from this particular one. So this is our an escort. The escorts that we have got a large deal breaker plus a sentinel multi-beam as well. So they've actually got like a deal breaker beam through there, which has got like a good range of fire. So this sort of supplements what these other bigger ships can then go and do. But we haven't fired the deal breaker. One thing I didn't show with the deal breaker beam is the fire rate is every 18 seconds. So it's a long time before it can actually then go and fire, whereas the sentinel multi-beam is only 2 seconds to actually be able to, the firing rate is very, very quick for what it actually then goes and does. So we're going to see a lot more of the sentinel beams than we're going to see of the deal breaker beams. The iron cannons fire at every 8.75 seconds. So actually that's intercept volleys for your firing rate 7 seconds there. Yeah, and 18 seconds there. So it just once we get close enough, we're then going to see a lot of big, thick white beams sort of come out of our ships. Just go and watch. That there is is one of the iron cannons that it's now firing to try to disable the ship. It looks like it's going to miss. It's sort of already off the angle. These other ships have got those. These small ships don't have them. Oh no, it's on target, and it missed. So it actually missed. They're still spooling up, so that was about 8 seconds before they could fire that one. This one now is just coming into the range of the iron cannon, and if the iron cannon hits, it will then start to disable. So we can see there's hardly any damage done. A little bit of damage done to the shields, again, just from the sentinel beams at this early stage of the fight. Now more iron cannons now being fired. This one's just coming into iron cannon range. That's this sort of like this bluish tinge that we see in through here. So there's another iron cannon shot going in, and more sentinel beams now firing at the actual ship itself. And in fact, this one here has we have actually gone through and knocked out one of its shields. So it has 2 shields. So its deflection shield generator has actually been one of them has actually been knocked out. So its health is 99%. So it will actually come back up, but then it has to spool up again and re-energize. Now, what actually happens is when a shot comes in, you can see with these shield generators that they've got, there's a shield penetration chance of 20%. Every 5 shots will bypass the shields anyway and hit the armor. But in this case, what's actually happened is it's then hit the armor, done a little bit of damage to it. The rating there is 50. The reactive rating means that gets subtracted from the damage that's done, which is why these low-level beams that we're seeing so far aren't going to do a lot of damage. But one of them has been able to knock out a shield, so which is a bit lucky, very lucky. And so that's going to then. This may now start to run away. So let's have a bit of a look to see what's going to happen here. This is now the first of the big beams is now hitting in through here, and it actually did hit. This one actually, maybe that was actually what we were seeing there. You can see down through there already that we've got the shields. The shields are sort of coming down. There is actually 99.9% of the hull, so we've done a little bit of damage to the hull itself, but not a hell of a lot because we're firing at longest range. More iron cannon shots coming in, and more of the small sentinel beams, the yellow beams as well. And we should see more of these big beams coming back in very, very soon. And we should now start to see much more damage being done to the ship itself. Now, at this point in time, this ship has now repaired the actual weapon. You can see there's no problem there with defense, but it now has to get all that shielding energy back up. So this one, the benefit that this one actually has, being an Ikaru ship, is this organic hull gives it a much higher repair rate. So its damage repair will then sort of start to come up. It still can't fire at us other than through its steel breaker beam until we go past the ship. Let's go and get more. Now we're missing a lot with our iron cannons, but one of them did hit. You can see there's like a little iron shot in through there, and we can see in that last column now there's one of the weapons has been disabled. I'm guessing it's going to be the sentinel beam because it hasn't been firing that. So if we have a look inside it again, it's the fusion beam, the big one at the back. And so this has been disabled for 7 more seconds. So this just gives us in real time as to what that actually is. So in this case, so it can't use its main weapon. So it's that main weapon has now sort of been damaged a little bit. And we can see even when we have a look at this one, we're now going to start to see some damage on the actual ship. Because we've actually done damage to the hull, only very minuscule, we will start to see some wear and tear on the actual ship itself. Let's just go and have a bit of a look. This must have fired earlier, I think. These should be spinning around. Once the actual ship is ready to fire again, we're going to be trying to disable it as much as we can. There's another iron shot. And we can see down now that last iron cannon actually got one of its engines has now been disabled. 2 of its weapons, both weapons have now been disabled, and one of its sensors has been disabled. So we're sort of slowly disabling the actual ship. What we need to be able to do to capture it is, and these are now the ones that are disabled. So one engine through there. This is just an impulse engine, but we need to stop it using its hyperdrive. So it's got the hyperdrive in through there, or we need to stop both reactors to stop the hyperdrive. So we need either both of those or that to be able to then go and do it. And we need to drop the shields before this one can then sort of make use of its transports. Now, it may have already sort of used the transports anyway. I'll just go back and have another quick look. You know, we've still got all this one ready to go. If we can, this one's now going to try to jump away and escape. If we can get the shielding down, we're going to then be able to get some troops on board, and they'll start to disable even more stuff. More iron cannons, which missed. There's another deal breaker beam that's come back from the other side. That one didn't do much damage, but we have damaged another sensor. Iron cannon shots, still jumping. We've now taken out both the impulse engines. Both weapons are still down. but we need to get rid of, we need to stop the hyperdrive. Another iron beam weapon, which is, the trouble with this one is it does smack its way through the shielding, but doesn't do damage to the shields as much as, as much as we sort of want in one sense, because we do want to get these landing forces on board. There's more deal breaker beams, 2 of them now hitting at the same time, and so we are sort of breaking through. We've still only got 99% damage to the hull. We haven't really done any damage to the internals yet. Iron cannon's missing. Now that there, I think that we had just put troops on board, yeah. So we actually now have been able to get, the shields were down enough for our transports to now send in the troops. So there was like a little beam that came, a little blip that came out from this ship onto the actual angry gauntlet. And when we now have a look on this one, we can now sort of see that it's about the same sort of numbers. But what should happen here is that now that we're trying to do this one, it's going to start to our guys will now start to go through and do more disabling of the actual ship itself. But the Marines will then have to contend with these Ikaru fighters. The Ikaru fighters should be better than us. So we're not really going to be, just looking at what these numbers are, we're not going to be able to take these ships easily. So I'm thinking we're going to have to either get more troop transports with these groups, and I'm not really comfortable doing that, or we're going to have to only focus on smaller ships, which still may not be what we want to do either. What have they got? They've only got 1 splinter pod, which means that potentially the other ones have got that as well. I'll just keep on disabling. So we want to stop it from jumping. It is now disabled. The hyperdrive is now offline, and we'll start to now see that as these guys go through it, they're going to start to take these down. So time to re-enable, 21 seconds. So it's now stopped spooling, and so we can now just do more damage to it. So our ships will keep on firing until it's really like a bit of a dead duck, but we're going to struggle here to take this particular ship. So I'm thinking we just let the ship sort of fire at it for a little bit longer. See how they've stopped firing? What they're doing is they're now waiting to see what's going to be the outcome of this, and it's not going to work. So I think we just do more damage to it, to be honest. So these are now waiting for the capture to take effect, and it's just not going to happen. This is going to take way too long to actually get the troops back on board. So I'm just going to go to the first. I'm going to now give them a different order, which is to destroy this. I know I can't actually kill it, so I'm just going to go into attack. And we'll just whittle it right down. If I can get it down where we do some massive damage to it, you can see things have been disabled, but they're still back on. They're on normal but disabled in terms of the general slots. So there's 4 of them that have been disabled as we're sort of doing this one, but we're not going to win this one. So we'll just keep on firing at it. I just want to damage it enough. Alright, so its armour is now nearly fully down. I want to get destroyed components. Okay, now we've got one destroyed component over through here in the general slots. So look and see what that actually is. You can see there's a lot disabled now because of our Marines that are on board. But the one that we want to check, that's only disabled. Yeah, so this one here is, the health is 98%. So it's still not enough. Unfortunately, because they've got the organic hull, I'm going to have to keep on. I'm going to have to probably destroy it, I think. How are we going here? Yeah, no, we're going to lose that fight. So our Marines just aren't as good as the Ikaru Marines. The Ikaru Marines are amongst the best around. So we're just going in through here. Now they've already raided the base at Vantra 1. I'll just dismiss that. So we've still got the hull is up at 72%. We now have destroyed 4 components, but they can fix things up. Crew systems have been destroyed. The Jerax hyperdrive is now down to 71%. Okay, let's now leave this ship and go after some of the others. So this is actually a different type of ship, but this one again is going to have a splinter pod. So we may not be strong enough to take these things out, which means we may have to sort of rethink what we're doing through here. Let's just leave this ship so that we can try to come back and capture it another time, as long as it sort of stays where it is. Now we've got another frigate. No, these are both just small escorts. Let's go for this one. Attack this one now. I'm just going to leave that one alone. I'll just go back up to normal speed. Actually, we destroyed that one. Destroying, as I said before, is second best at this point in time, but it's good enough. Now we've still got shielding up, so they can't really raid this one just yet. And we'll just bring our fleet back to take on these now. So these are weaker, again, if we have a quick look and see what they've got. They've got they've got a medium fusion beam. These aren't that much different, but these ones actually do fire from the front. So that's weird. I think it's just a 180 degrees. I think that's, I don't know why that's showing in that direction. That can't be right. All right, so just reading a few more. Tom, so I'll just pause this one and just read a few more of the comments. So Tom is saying, is the Sentinel point defense still king in late game? I think it is. I actually really like it. It's got good rate of fire, good range, and really does sort of knock out the shielding, etc. Particularly of fighter craft. By that stage, by the sort of mid game, you're as much defending against fighters and bombers as you are against missiles. In the early part of the game, you're mainly just fighting against missiles. But they hold up well for a long period of time. So they're my favourite. I do prefer them. Oh yeah, happy Thanksgiving, guys, if you're from America. I just saw there the comment. Bunch one saying, I never fully understood why weapon countermeasures of the weapon is a positive value. Shouldn't it reduce the weapon countermeasures of the enemy? I'm not sure how it works, to be honest. That's one aspect I don't really understand. Maybe next, I'll try to remember to actually, when I see, like when Eric's sort of in a stream, I'll try to actually ask him how that actually does work. Because he really does, like, of course, being a developer, he understands exactly what's going on. Falcon saying 2 days of Distant Worlds 2, Thanksgiving as well, is well times indeed. I was thinking of, I wasn't sure what to play today, and then I thought, I didn't explain things very well yesterday, and I'd always like to try to at least show the immersion of the game, because there's a lot that goes on in this game that you just, when you play on the superficial level, you don't see, and there's so much to go under the hood. Okay, so Fun is saying, Falcons currently is the pirate turkey shoot, yes. And Horatio-Novic is saying, you're talking about this like David Attenborough would talk about a wounded animal, and I love it. Thank you. I love this. I love this aspect of the game. Like, we've set and the thing I love about what we're doing right now is we're looking at what's going on, what's not working. We know that we don't have enough assault pods to take out one of these ships. So now we have to think, do we add more assault pods to our fleets to actually allow us to then go and capture these ships? And it may be something we need to have a look at. So one more assault pod would probably be enough, maybe two. So that may mean that we need to go and add another troop transport, like one of our assault transports, or we look at redesigning our other ships to actually put some assault pods on there. They're only 10 points. So that may be a better way for us to go. So it's sort of one of these things, we can tell that against the Ikaru pirates, we're not going to do all that well in terms of trying to capture. So it's almost like a bit of a wasted ship having the assault transport there. Okay, so Falcon's saying that's fine with me. I'm going to start a new campaign with the Teekans. I've been waiting for these last 3 races for a while, yes. And Falcon's saying ever since they changed the boarding mechanic, you have to have 2 or 3 boarding ships to have a chance. Yes, it is much more. I don't like the cooldown period, or I wish that they would show you the cooldown period. That's one thing I really wish that the user interface would show. Anyway, let's keep on going. We'll just go base raided. So we've lost, they failed at any loot there. But this one here, we lost 5,000 credits. So we're losing a lot of money up through this other side. Mining station being boarded. Yep, that was from before. And then we've got new construction ship completed, which is fine. Let's continue on. And they're trying to bring the shielding down, and they're doing a good job of that. Now, our first fleet is not going to have the boarding assault strengthening. Again, I wish it would tell you how much time you've got before that comes back up again. It's hard because you can have multiple, so it is actually a bit tricky. So we're now destroying this one. Again, iron damage. Hyperdrive is offline. So we've smashed that one pretty quickly. This one here has still got its shielding up, so it hasn't been boarded yet. And while we're here, what I think we'll do is just have a quick look and see. Yeah, the fusion beam is down for 14 seconds. That one's down for 7 seconds. It's not going anywhere. Let's just go and look around. Where's the other ship? Can't see the other pirate ship. That's the mining operation onto the actual planet itself. I thought the pirate ship was in here somewhere. It may have already run. I'll just go Shift Q and then Shift E just to get back to north. Well, let's just fire at this. I'll just let them destroy it. Again, there's so many pirates that we have to get rid of. We'll pick up some loot from there as well. Alright, so that we've now sort of, we are protecting this one fairly well. There is actually different things going on in here. We have like independent shuttlecraft coming through. It's like small freighters are dealing with us in through here. Raided our base, stolen a heap of money again. So we're losing a lot of money. We do need to, there's more pirates in there now as well. But I'll just keep the Haakonish system sort of operating. You can see there's a lot of small craft moving across in between these locations. You know what I might do is I might actually put pressure on the pirates out here. We've got our second fleet and our third fleet. The third fleet is looking after that location there. Let's go and send it out to Gilgamesh. I'm going to change its... actually, do we want to change what we're doing here? If I put a... Let's have a look at both the different types of ships that we actually have in through here, these heavy escorts and the frigates. And just do some tweaking to see if we can actually somehow take over these things. Yep, so Geminus was saying, good name suggestion for pirate clan, the Iron Pirates. There we go. And I'll talk about the economy again as to why it becomes a problem and how you can sort of tweak it. And we're actually doing something at the moment to try to overcome some of the, because it's usually about money, I'm guessing, or it might be about building. One of the two can be a big problem, particularly if you're playing in the pre-warp. Going from pre-warp can actually be a problem with the economy. But I'll just have a quick look at this ship. So we've got the heavy escort in through here. We're just going to go and edit this one. I just want to have a look at it. What do we got? So we've got 5 left over, and we don't have anything that's really small. And so I don't want to get rid of any of that stuff. So they're actually all fine. Which means I've got fuel cells. If I ditch a fuel cell, I can then put another assault pod on these. So that's definitely doable. At the moment, its fuel rating, when we have a look at the actual stats of this ship, it's got a fuel range of nearly 450 M, which is very, very long. And so I need it a bit to be about double what I would typically be needing. But as long as I'm going to a location with refuelers, I'm going to be okay. So as long as there's a fuel source. So that doesn't need to be that long. And if we just cancel that and have a quick look at the frigate and edit that one, I think I've got this one down to just 2 fuel cells. So this one has got a fuel range of only 288. So I don't need the extra fuel cell. I could actually ditch that fuel cell from my heavy escorts and put assault transports on there. So let's go and do that. That'll give me 2 more assaults. Yeah, we do have, actually, what's our size here? Only got 3. There's nothing here I can really take off this, not easily anyway, to sort of make it up. So that one there I can't really do much with. So I'm just going to go back to my heavy escort. I'm going to now do an upgrade, and now I'm just going to ditch one of the, right click on the mega density fuel cells and grab another assault pod in there. So these will now be the new design. This will be heavy escort version 2, so we'll save and exit that one. And this one just is going to upgrade, latest upgrade for the hull. The hull that we're using is the heavy escort hull. So we've got, so we're just going to go across now and save and exit that one there. I'll have a quick look at these and just see if there's anything else we do have. No, it's too specific. Yeah, no, we don't. Unfortunately, we're going to have to manually change these when we do get the chance. Okay, so that's now going to ultimately be, what will end up happening here is that anything that's in auto, so we'll actually, rather than sending off it's trying to load troops at Mitrani 3 just to get something into the actual, into these troop transports, which is fine. I don't mind that one so much. But what we do want to actually have happen with these is for them to go and retrofit. So if I just unpause the game for a second and then just go back through each of them, you'll now see I've got the order to retrofit the fleet to the latest designs, and they'll go back home to do that, which I've got no choice really. I'm just going to have to do that. So I think I will actually send them back off. Still got that general, which is still trying to transfer out. So let's go and do the upgrades. They're going to be going into upgrade. I'm just going to set these now. Just go back to defend again. So they'll actually go back and do the retrofit, and then come back to automatically look after that location. The second fleet, I might as well get it to upgrade now because it's actually sitting back there defending the homeworlds anyway. And then the third fleet, I'll do the same thing here as well. I'm going to tell it to go back to the Gilgamesh system. Now, do we have a refueling point here? We don't. Yeah, we don't really have a location here for what we're doing. Yeah, there's nothing much. We've already got pirates on board there. Look, I'll upgrade them, then we'll sort of manually do it. So that was the third fleet is going to go off and retrofit. Excuse me. Sorry about that. All right, so let's now talk about this economy and sort of how things actually do work. One thing you'll sort of, if you use the Alt key, you'll then get a feel for the distances. It doesn't show. I wish that there was a tool that would show you this down in here. It really is so useful, and but it's actually a hidden tool that is actually, if you don't know that you can do this, you won't. There's no other way of knowing in the game, I don't think, to actually do distances. So if we want to find out from at what range, now we know that our fuel range is around about 288. So let's just say that we've got a safe zone of about 200. So if I press the Alt key, and you can see it's now saying displaying distances. If I go and click on the Mitrani system and then have a bit of a look, so out to this other world is pretty much close to the limits of our fuel for our frigates. So we're going to need to get fuel out here, and so we're going to need fuel transports if we're going to be sort of supplying our particular fleet with those ones in through this other side. But these here are very, very close at only 70. So in terms of the you can see there's very, very healthy freighter transports that are moving out, 107 out through to here. This is all very, very close. That human area there is at 166 again, so we're sort of it's closer than the other one, but the other one is closer to that sort of special resource. So I will be wanting to take over both of these worlds. Now I think we've got even more fuel on our transports. So when we do an invasion, I think we can go further than what that actually is. I'll just let go of the Alt key. But in terms of the resources, now, if you're having trouble building, like one thing you can actually always have a quick look at is what's happening with the resources, for example, in here. Like if I go and click on either the Mitrani 3 spaceport or the Mitrani 3 itself, I'm then going to be seeing the resource shortages. And so if I go and click on that one, it will then stay active. And I can then start to scroll down through to see what resources are a problem for us. And you can see down through here that we've actually got like a lot of Aculon, Argon, for example. We're above what we needed to have, even Caslon. So if you are sort of running out, thank you very much, Tails Sly Fox, for the gifted subs. That's very, very much appreciated. So Falcon's saying, what did you change about the ships that you had to upgrade? I wanted more assault pods, so I can try to capture more pirate ships. So I've put an assault pod onto the 2 heavy escorts we've got in each fleet. So that will then sort of pretty much double the amount of troop transports we actually have, which should then allow me to take over the pirate ships. So we're sort of trying to do that so we can do capturing. I'll talk about why we're capturing as well in just a minute as well. But when you have a look at a planet, like if you are having trouble with resources, always have a look to see what the resource shortage actually is, and just have a look to see if there's anything in red, particularly in these top areas. So this one here is fine. For example, we do actually have dilithium quartz in through here, but we're not actually asking for any. The ship will then sort of ask for certain things. Now, certain things will be reserved. So the reserves, you see the amount of this resource that is reserved for construction or other use at this location. So let's just say that we're going to be building a mining station somewhere like that. We're going to need certain resources to build that, and they have to be picked up from a warehouse, and the warehouse, planets are essentially your warehouses. So they're going to be coming along and they're reserving certain resources to build those mining stations, or it might be building ships, whatever it might actually be. So there's like a reserved amount in through here. It can also be reserved from from other factions that are buying it from you. So that's another source of income for you. Back in through here, you can see there's quite a bit. Polymer, we do actually have a source of polymer. You can sort of see the sources in through there. So we have source of polymer in through there as well, which is often one where there can be a bit of a problem. And the ones that typically cause issues are polymer, carbonite. If you don't have sources of carbonite, that can be a big issue. And so in the early game, particularly if you're playing pre-war, you are looking for those sorts of resources to try to secure them as quickly as possible. Steel can be a big problem if you're playing a pre-warp game. You can see in this case we've got double what we need on the actual planet. So we've got no problems on our planet here. Everything's just thumping along quite nicely. And eventually it'll sort itself out anyway, but it just can take time. Usually what we'll end up having is, as we discover different luxury resources, we'll then start to request them, but we've got 0 in here at the moment. So what will happen is the freighters will now be going out and saying, okay, I know that there's by Furin Silk, we've got 4, it says 4 of 2. I'm not sure what the mine locations actually are in through there. It includes foreign locations from trade agreements. But in this case, we do have trade agreements. So we will actually have some of our freighters will be going off to go and secure this location because the planet is asking for it. So they're asking for a lot of these different things. We do actually have Darkwool tentacles back in through here. We have Arrakis meat. So we've got a few of them, but there's a lot that they're actually requesting coming back in. We have Nephthys wine, but not actually. I don't know why we're not actually asking for any of that one, but we do actually have that one through there. This one I think one of them gives us a big advantage for our own faction. I think that's the one. We'll have a look at that in just a minute. But anyway, that's sort of like when you have a look at this one, you can get a bit of a feel. So the 16 resource shortages that we have are all luxury resources. Now, the reason that they're really important is that you do need to have these on hand on your planets. So if we have a look at the other planet, I'm guessing that the second planet is going to be even worse off. It's only got 13 shortages here. And so it's actually got all of the stuff it requires. Same sort of trouble in here. We do have a bit of Arrakis meat there. What do we end up making through here? We've got Wyconium. So we are making Wyconium on this particular location. And so Wyconium, there'll be a lot of it, and we don't request any because we've got it readily on the actual world itself. And so it's going to then be shipping things back. And if we have a look and see, let's just go and pick on one of them. Actually, before we do that, let's go and have a look at our what's important for our particular faction. So if we just go and close that one off, go to Alien Races, go to the Haakonish, which is now, of course, been upgraded with all sorts of different extra things. So we like marshy swamp planets and mangrove swamp planets. We have different advantages, different bonuses in through here. So we've got different things that now impact us. We'll maybe come back and have a look at this one after we talk about these different boosts that we end up getting essentially through so Sakaris meat is the one that we end up getting a colony growth resources. We get extra growth by having Akaris meat. So do we have access to Akaris meat? I don't have to go and have a look at the actual planet, so I can just zoom out a little bit and just sort of see what we actually have with our freighter network. So there's even freighters back over here, for example, transporting cargoes across. But if we go out to our resources again, and we've just got the luxury resources in through here. So Akaris meat is, where is it? Looks like we don't actually have any just yet. Haven't found any. Can't see it there. Oh, there it is. Oh, we've got one source. Okay, we actually do control a source. So when we have a look at it, it's actually, we have it on one of our planets. So we already have it. Okay, well, that's not going to sort of show us what we actually need to do. In fact, it's on our homeworld. So the homeworld does have Akaris meat as part of what we then actually have. So this one here is giving us, we're getting 3% colony development and 1% population growth, but we're also picking up we're getting that bonus as well, the growth bonus on the actual world itself. So if you have a look at this is the population policy, which won't really help us that much. The growth rate, 4.2, a portion of that will be because of the Akaris meat. So we just have a bit of a bonus there with our actual growth for the actual population at this particular world. And so as we move off, because we've got an actual source at a home world, that will then just be transported out to each of the other worlds. So if I have that one, it's not showing it there, but there should be Akaris meat on Esail as well. And if we have a bit of a look, yeah, we've got 20 there. This one's requesting more, so it's requesting 102. There's 20 at the moment on this world, and so it needs to get more from the home world. And so there will be a request put out to one of the freighters, and so one of these freighters will be bringing Akaris meat in. So these are just transporting what they're actually asking for. Nothing there. Often these will just sort of sit around waiting for orders. There may be one that will sort of be coming in soonish, I would imagine. It's jumping away. Akaris meat. And so this one here, just the Lavish Navigator, has been given the order, we need Akaris meat and we need Caslon. We need fuel as well. So it's actually, its job is to transport cargo from Matrani 3 spaceport to the Esail spaceport. So it's bringing 200 cargo in, essentially. So there's nothing much you can do about pushing that. It will do it anyway. So I don't ever get in the middle of that, but I'm just always aware if there's a delay. For example, if we end up controlling the Zentabia fluid way over here, it's going to take years and years and years before we finally get it so that it becomes like a regular supply back into our home systems, because it's just too far away. So just be aware of that as well. So anyway, that's sort of where we are with that one through there. Hope that answers that sort of question about the economy. So it's essentially that sort of is working. The other thing about if it's the money situation that you're worried about, the cash flow is, don't worry about the cash flow going a little bit negative, but if it starts to go too far negative, then that's going to be a problem. And you then actually have in your Empire tab, you then actually do have where you can start to sort of see the funding levels and your economy as such in through here. Your bonus income will often, like the previous year, we had 74,000 bonus income, mainly shipbuilding for the Independence. So I've got something on my glasses. And so we can sort of rely on that one. We're nearly at the end of this year, and we only had like a much smaller proportion of people building ships. Like this will be the freighters and stuff being built. So the bonus economy can supply a lot. You also lose a lot through corruption, depending on which faction you're playing. So for us, we're going to have like a big corruption problem on the like if we go back to the Matrani system, for example, and have a look at its economy, go to the details in through here, you'll see that our corruption losses are 44%, which is massive. So we're losing a hell of a lot of money that could be then taxed. So the tax rate is 27%. at the moment, and so and the revenue that we actually end up having is the total revenue of the world is 173,000 per year, which we lose a heap of that through corruption because of who we're playing as. And then we have the base revenue then, which is the one that can then be taxed. We have 27% of that is 26,000. We have support costs. Every world has got support costs, and then we end up with the usable amount, 24,000. So if we can affect the corruption losses, it's going to actually give us a lot more money. So that's actually what I'm focusing on here right now with the planetary governance, which will then give me a planetary administration centre, which will then take off. It won't be 10% of the total amount. It'll be 10% of. It'll take another 4% off, essentially, which will then just give me a little bit more to play with. So that will then impact my income quite dramatically, ultimately, for the bigger planets. So that's one thing we do want to be then going and getting. It will also, actually, if I just go back in here, I'll just explain how this, because this one then impacts the economy in a big way. If I go to the planetary in through here, colony bonuses, we get empire bonuses there of more ambassadors and leader quality will be better, and the ambassadors will then have another 1% chance of actually sort of coming back in. But when we have a look at the colony bonuses, these are massive. The colony happiness of plus 5% doesn't sound like a hell of a lot, but it actually does have a big bearing on your money. Again, colony corruption reduction of 10%. Now, it's not 10% off the, it doesn't go from 44 to 34. It's 10% of the corruption, which is at 44% or 45. So it'll take 4.5 off that. So for the bigger the corruption that you have, the more impactful that will then end up being. You then actually have other things like where you have the colony defence goes up a little bit and colony development goes up as well, which also then impacts the happiness again. So we've got a few different things that impact happiness. Happiness impacts the tax, the tax rate. The corruption reduction means we have more money to as a pool, which means we end up getting a lot more money when we build one of those planetary centres, and we're getting pretty close now to getting one of those. So I'll try to sort of show that in context as the way that one works as well. Again, I'm not managing. That's the first time I've really looked at the economy. I did actually have a look earlier on, yesterday or the day before. Sorry, or the time before that. It must have been yesterday. Just to see that our corruption was very high. So we've got very high corruption on our worlds, and the further away we are from our capital, the worse it's likely to be, depending on the population. There's a lot of things that do impact the corruption. This one's at 40%, but this is a smaller world. And so if I hover over, I'm not going to see it there, unfortunately, with the corruption, but you can see that the revenue here is much lower. The tax rate is also much lower. The approval is only +4. We're actually over our maximum population. Are we? No, we're not. We're well under. So we're trying to still build up, essentially, with what we actually have through there. Anyway, we'll just let that one sort of keep on going. We've found a new, this is again more luxuries. The more luxuries we bring in, the better the colony development is, the more money we get. So colony development, if I try to explain how this one works, we've got the size of the world, the quality of the world overall is just, how easy it is to sort of live on the actual world itself. Maximum population, we've got a current population of 770. The development level, 92% comes. It's a bit of a hybrid of different things. If we go back across to this one here, development is we've got 31% from the population and 61% from resources. Every resource that we have has got like a different percentage of colony development that it will then bring in, and that then is essentially how much. How the money is sort of then generated, the base revenue really comes from the development level of the world. So the more developed a world is, the more money you get in the revenue again as well. So all of these happiness, colony development, all of these different mechanics ultimately just mean more money. So I always look at happiness and corruption reduction, and all these things just means more money in your pocket. I hope that helps anyway if you sort of are struggling with the money side of things. But that's why I've gone straight across to planetary governance as my first tech that I wanted to go and get in this case, just because of the high level of corruption that we have. Maybe we'll talk very quickly about why we've got sort of like bad corruption. If we go and have another look at the Galactopedia. And well, first of all, actually, we can do it. Yeah, sure. I will do it there just so we can sort of see the unique thing. No, we can do it in here, I think. If we have a quick look at the bonuses that we have, you can see there colony corruption reduction is negative 15%. So we end up with, we have a lot of corruption in through here. And so this one here is we get minus 10 because we've got a mercantile guild, which is naturally corrupt. And we also have our leader is also pretty shitty. He's got a negative 5 with colony corruption reduction. So we're losing a lot just through being a mercantile guild and having a shitty leader. So that's actually a big problem for us back in through there. We can see other aspects of it. So because this is actually a terrible, the corruption we have on at the moment is really bad. I'm just going to grab myself a drink of water, be right back. So these are all the different bonuses that we end up having, and these are impacted by all sorts of things. Like if you hover over these, you can sort of see, that there's a engine research. The Haakonish race has got bonuses with the way that one does work. But let's go and have a look at the actual faction that who we are. So we'll just go back into the alien races and have a look at the Haakonish. This is our sort of like base defaults. So reptilian, essentially. So we're quite aggressive. We are sort of like a bit of a nasty mercantile guild, whereas the Teekans are a bit more friendly than us. We have natural bonuses in engine research, counter-espionage, hyperdrive research, hyper-jump speeds, things like this. We have different bonuses in through here, which is actually fairly handy. Ship energy savings. So we're good with jumping ahead of other fleets, but we are pretty bad. And there's actually other, like I think the Dayuts can actually jump a lot faster than what we can, but we are up there. But we're actually slow with our impulse. So we do actually, our ships aren't that great in terms of being able to move quickly once we're actually using impulse drives. Ship energy savings in through there as well, so we end up with a bit more energy. Our diplomacy is poor natively. We actually are good at reducing, like we've got pretty good war weariness reduction, so we can sort of stay in wars a little bit longer than the average. And the facility construction speed is slow. Now we do actually have, there's reasons for all this, and we have a look at the special features. This is now the new stuff that's come in. So pretentious design. All ships and base hulls use 20% more resources and cost 10% more to build. Planetary facilities are 10% slower to build. And so this is actually just something where we're more finicky about the ships that we're building, which then leads to this facility, actually that's facility construction speed. That's, ships and all ship and base hulls. Okay, we've got that one through there. Binding contracts. Other factions with a trade treaty with the Haakonish are more likely to buy resources from Haakonish locations instead of other foreign suppliers. So if we can corner markets, and we don't have to do this in a friendly way. We're not very good at diplomacy, so we can actually use aggression to force these sorts of contracts, essentially. So any sort of trade treaty that we end up having, there's different levels of trade treaties, and so if we can sort of force our way into getting a trade treaty, then we're going to sort of do fairly well with them buying from us. Penalty clauses, so factions declaring war on a Haakonish faction suffer -10 reputation penalty. Independent colonies are also immediately cancelling trade treaties with the warring faction if they also have a trade treaty with the Haakonish faction. So we can, again, try to become friendly with these different other factions, but I think I'm just going to take them over in this case. Account confiscation. So when a faction declares war on the Haakonish faction will immediately take bonus income equal to all trade with the warring faction over the previous year. So it replaces, it's almost like a fine system or a tariff system where we end up sort of getting a bit of a bonus income that way as well. Superior destiny, so each time a Haakonish specific research project is completed, gain a +5 empire-wide happiness bonus for 2 years. So we're getting close now to getting this one through. Actually, no, that's a Haakonish specific research project. That's actually not this one here. This is, so if we go with the more deal breaker beams and stuff like that, we're going to then end up with happiness. Happiness means money. Exploit loopholes, so a Haakonish faction may choose to exploit a trade treaty with another faction by taking money directly from the other faction, up to 30,000 credits for standard empires, up to 15,000 credits for independent colonies. If this action will cause the other faction to immediately cancel the trade treaty and will harm our reputation. Now, to be honest, that's not a lot of money, so I would never do that. Pretty much, I don't think I would ever do that. Economic boost, so creative accounting boosts empire income by 10% for 5 years. However, later it also triggers growing corruption throughout all colonies, and corruption is a big problem for me. So again, I'm not going to be doing that either. But I can actually go and trigger these things if I'm wanting to. Xenophobic riots, so we can actually bring these onto our worlds. Can be initiated at any colony to immediately reduce non-Haakonish populations by 25% at the colony. The colony also gains +10 happiness for 5 years and has reduced migration for 10 years. The Haakonish faction also suffers a -10 reputation penalty. So we can start to sort of ethnically cleanse different locations if we do want to be there ourselves. We have different leader traits in through there. I won't worry about these so much. Unique scientist traits as well, multi-dimensional, which is fairly handy. We've got unique ambassador traits, so xenocalculator, sorry, xenolocucator, whatever it is. So +10% diplomacy, -5% counter-espionage, which is actually not what we want. We want counter-espionage to be high. And unique spy is suspicious, so +5 counter-espionage and +5 concealment. Again, we saw the Arrakis meat being something that's important to us. We do actually have the specific tech that we actually have, the vortex bomb and the deal breaker beams. These are sort of big ones. We also have a hyper deny, which actually keeps ships from jumping. That's another useful one for us. So we will eventually sort of end up using these to try to control regions of space, to sort of subjugate people, to make sure that they actually trade with us. So we're going to be playing a bit more aggressively in this, like a bit like, I guess, the if we were playing in like a Dune universe or a Star Wars universe as the Mercantile Guild. So we'll be sort of harsh diplomats, I guess, is the way that we'll sort of playing this particular one. Anyway, let's just unpause and let the game continue on. So we're just now waiting for these different level ups or different upgrades. So these will now move off. So it's retrofitting that location. Again, we've got different at Gilgamesh. They're taking a lot of money from us. We do have to stop this. So we're finding more luxury resources. Okay, we're now getting the fourth fleet is starting to now pick itself up. We haven't got any of the we haven't picked up any of the troops yet. I think I'll set this one up to just be manual at this stage. Just wait. These guys are coming back for their retrofits. So the whole fleet will come back. They are set to automatically defend, so even after they do this, they'll then just go back home again and defend that system. Getting our money up again, but the pirates will then just keep on raiding. New construction ships. It looks like we've got a lot being built here. Actually, this is at the other moon. Not building anything on that location. We do have a few, a passenger ship and some small freighters being built at that location. Back over here, should be retrofitting. Troop transports are being constructed, fuel tanker, a small freighter. They may be retrofitting directly on this world here. You've got a mining ship being constructed, passenger ship. Yes, there's not much there actually. So if we go back to the second, they've now finished off doing their retrofits. So you can see that we've now got a much bigger boarding assault strength, which should be enough for us to now take over frigates and the escorts. The third fleet as well has now been finished off its location. Now the third fleet is set there, but let's go and send it out to the Gilgamesh system and tell it that it's going to go. Where should we set it up? Okay, we don't have the fuel range really. I'll just go and set it up here. So we'll just move this and set that as the home base, and while it's actually default, it will then just move out there. Send Haakonish 4. I'm going to decline that. because they're going to be gone by the time these guys are the ones that have to look after the Kaddish system. So we'll leave them where they are. So Shira, do you want to say, so how is spy stuff coming? She haven't had a look at those for a while. I honoured the other spies that we had. So you're there, stealing the territory map from the circuitous administrative clans. So you're off trying to do that one at this stage. So you have a concealment there of 14%, which is actually fairly cool. That's a good one. So you are in the game. Ah, damn it, they've taken it. So they've actually claimed that world. So that changes things a bit. Damn it. I do want the Centabia fluid, and I did really want that world to do that. Well, let's go and take this world anyway and just push this border back. I'm not sure who it is in that region of space. Just house rulers, it would decline these pirate factions. I'm going to have to bide my time here, unfortunately. Troop transport completed. Okay. I'll still keep them coming. 94% now. Okay, Tail Sly Fox redeemed a custom reward. Could I be a warship? You can indeed. So we've got Began there. I'll give you this one here. And what it will do is when we with the first fleet, as we improve the ships, I'll then just improve the I'll improve the actual names as well. So there we go, done. So again, if you are sort of newish to the channel and don't really know what the DasDemption is, it's on Twitch. If you do have channel points, you can then go and basically redeem either a warship or a character, if that gets destroyed or basically or the character gets taken or captured, then you are banned for half an hour. So you've got skin in the game. Now we're finding a lot of do want this system out here. I think we'll as soon as the fourth is finished, it's nearly finished. Now we've got good assault boarding strength, but we do need to be picking up the troops. And what do we have? We're still building up a lot in here. I'll just wait for this one to finish. And I'll then go and unburden a lot of these garrison troops. In fact, I might just do that now anyway. Let's go and set these up. Can I do all of them? Yeah, I can. We'll just ungarrison, and we'll then just go back to the fourth and tell them to go and pick up load troops. So they'll now move in and pick up those troops, then we'll go off and take that human world. Encouragement to perform, yes indeed. It is indeed. So these are now all being set to be transported in this fleet. These are offloading their cargo. They've got Kazlon coming in. We've got more Kazlon coming in through there. No cargo there just yet. So the fourth has now picked up 1 armor, 8 infantry. So that will be enough for us to go and take that human world. So let's go and take that. God, I really, really wanted this other one. They're building their own spaceport. They're really, actually, they're accelerating away here. These Artooks. I think I want to make them the biggest problem, you know, that we've sort of tried to go after them as much as we can. Now, they're probably going to be looking after, what have they got there, merchant freighters and things. Let's do a prepare and invade of Mission 1. So this will actually then severely impact our reputation. So we're going to end up with a negative reputation here. But I do want this world. That will then give me all of the resources that we actually have in through here as well. We'll sort of end up with more control over them. Now that's the third, moving out to Gilgamesh. The first is the ones that we do actually have the name ships with. It's still retrofitting at Isail. Second is just going to be looking after the home system. Oh, sorry, I've got it paused. That's interesting. It's right on the jump range there, so it has to go to Sigmani before it then heads across into here. So we have a jump, like that's the, it has to stop at one of these locations to then jump to the next location. Dismiss that one for now. When we really got on top of the money, here we go, we've almost now got planetary governance. First Defence Force, yeah, I'll assign that mission when they get back there. Almost got this. There we go. So we now have planetary governance, and on both worlds, I want to then I want to set these things up just to sort of get around that corruption. So what is this? It's the corruption here at the moment. It is, yeah, basically 45. So we're going to get that down to about 40, which again will just give us a bit of a boost. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it does help. So we have the Planetary Administration Centre. These are going to cost me 10,000, so I'll grab one of those there, and I will go across to this one as well. So it's not really worth it doing with, like this one's sort of a bit touch and go with only sort of like 800 million, but it's still possibly going to be helpful a little bit, particularly over time. So I will actually build this one as well. So we've got the Planetary Administration Centre there. So I'll just build both of those up and allow them to sort of stay where they are. So Smeeka's then saying, I hate it in these games when I don't realise I forgot to unpause and I sit there wondering why nothing is happening. It's like when I lose my glasses and it turns out they're on my head. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. We have unknown ships in here. So somebody's in here, which we can't really tell just yet. These are freight haulers. So independent freighters coming from somewhere. So they're buying stuff from here, buying Caslon. Again, we've got pirates coming in through here. Back out this way. Near our research centre. Have we discovered any other research centres? Potentially. No. No, we haven't. That's going to slow us down. You know what we need is more explorers to get out here. Okay, Sheriff Geraldine has now got the territory map again, so we'll just keep that one going. And we've got mining stations being boarded. Can't do anything about that just yet. They're still moving off. Oh, sorry, I got it paused again. I just did it again. Okay. Yeah, I think I need more explorers. I can get 2. They just do their own thing, basically. They're just on auto. Not sure whose border this is. But I am really looking at this whole system now, thinking I would love to be able to you know, get ahead of the game here and try to you know, dominate them. But they're going to be growing very, very quickly, and they'll be all over the place before we know it. So we're going to need sort of like big mercantile fleets to put them in their place. We do need to look after, you know, there's different things happening out through here as well with pirate factions. So this one's just coming back in to refuel at Yantra. We haven't found anything else out this way. I love how small. We're just playing in this one little area, and there's so much more of the galaxy that we just haven't got to. It's sort of funny. We've got this one arm coming around this way, and that's really where everything is happening for us. We haven't gotten into the core. Who knows who's in there and what's in there? We just have got no idea. We do get just the isolated element there. I'm just going to keep... I need to keep a fleet back at home though, just in case the pirates do come after that. I might start to think about like if we can get on top of the money situation, and so when we do get the go back to the Matrani system, I'm still a long way off. Oh, it's no 73%. That's not too bad. We may have the benefit. It's 46 now. Still, tax rate is still 27%. So the exploration ships have now been built. 81%. And now we're going over here. 37%. Six. Just thinking about what if I need to get anything other than hyperdrive. I think hyperdrive is going to be useful, but it's going to take a long, long time. Okay, well now this is from where we had the fights. Just picking up loot. 94%. Just see if it does make a much difference. All right, that's now up and running. Let's have a look and see if it did change it. Yeah, see how it dropped? It went from 46 down to 41, which means we end up having more taxation. So we've picked up another couple of thousand from that one, and the happiness as well has now gone up, so our tax rate can go up. They try to keep the approval at 5, about +5, and they do that by increasing the tax rate when they're happy. Our development level has also gone up as well. And so these things are all now going to impact the amount of money that we end up getting from this location. We're not going to get as much from the other location, but see how our cash flow doubled, our expected base cash flow. So, which isn't a hell of a lot, but it's just those little things do make a difference over the course of the game. This moon as well, it's still building up, so we've still got a bit to do in through there. So we'll end up with another bit of a boost in there as well when that one is done. So yeah, those sort of buildings can be quite important. Are they tooks? Yes, they are. Which just, they sort of end up going everywhere. They sort of like they just breed everywhere. So we'll be wanting to sort of suppress them a little bit if we can. And we're not really in a position to invade or do anything like that just yet. We're not strong enough. Really need to go back and just focus on these pirates again. Just until we can, once we can clear out the pirates, we're then going to be able to push our weight around a little bit more over here. And we don't know who's out here just yet. Money situation is looking after itself, which is good. Just see what the crash research is going to cost me. That's going to cost me 113,000. Okay. So still got a fair way to go. I think I'll just get more explorers. I'll get 4, and I'll also get a couple of fuel tankers. Just purchase those. Saying, right, I need to run, but I think you should move all your fleets to protect your research station. So if you weren't here earlier, Zaradin claimed the character who's actually researching out in the Ikapanpu research station. So he's sort of out isolated away, but they haven't been attacked yet by the pirates. Matroni, yeah, that'll be okay. We'll just let that one sort of continue doing what it's doing. Yeah, they're draining things away from here, but this is actually where most of the pirate activity. I need to get rid of this pirate group. They're very strong. Okay, this is Xenox. We'll decline that. Base rated. Stealing our money. They are just everywhere. So we're sort of going to try to keep on top of the cash flow, yet the pirates are sort of taking a lot of it from us. What's the third doing? Oh yeah, they're moving back in. This is not a clever idea. So they've this is the pirate fleet. So you can see, you get a sense of just how big this all is. So I'm going to change what these guys do. They're going off to attack individual little pirates in through here. But the trouble is that this is actually inside the range that we've given them to operate from Gilgamesh. I can either move them further away. So if I again just press the Alt key and click from the Gilgamesh 1 mining station across, see how it's about 50 away, which is what we've got set to. If I do it from here, click, that one's beyond 50. So if I set it up at Consus, that would sort of be okay, or I can just change that 50 to something else. So let's just go and do that. So we go back to the third, which is trying to get away from those different guys. Set tactics, and so from 50M just down to same system, that'll do. So it gives them a much smaller range that they can then sort of operate in. And I'm going to tell them to go back to this location. Refuel, like Gilgamesh 1. So they'll just come back and we'll just watch as they sort of then leave. So they're now going, if you give a refuel order or a retrofit, it still keeps them with their actual roll on. They're now going to be running away. They're all jumping. They've still got defences in through here. So frigates. These are just getting ready now for the next jump, the next leg into the MISM system. Adrian has redeemed a custom reward. Can I be a diplomat? You can indeed. We've got 2, but only one of them is actually active at this stage. So I'm thinking that I'll give you the one that's actually active. I've got 2 of them. This one here. Kudus can be Adrian. Oh, you're lazy, actually. Lazy, that's actually not a good one, not a good trait. You know, I think you're going to be banned here. I'm going to change. I'll give you this one instead. We'll just call this one Muggins for now, and I'll give you this guy instead. And we will make you manual and send you also to that one there, transfer. And I think we'll just ditch this guy. He's going to be pretty crappy. Let's just dismiss him. Then end up with more chance of picking up another guy. We can't have lazy diplomats. The general is on board there. Hi Sev, how you going? So good evening. And how goes the game? Any wars? No. We sort of kept that one away. Falcons has redeemed a general, please. There we go. We've got one right now. Colony Keterovs. Where was that? Just say goodbye. Just pause that for a second. Dismiss that message. Now, where are they? Over here. So that's the Gizarians back out this other side. So they're a long way away from us, but they will grow and grow. These will grow as well. They should be at war with each other a lot, which will give me opportunities. And I don't know who is down here just yet. Shirijulan has now evaded detection after seeking the mission to steal the territory map of the Anoth Sovereignty Hive. So that's all they've got. It's just the one location. That's interesting. And the Keterovs will just dismiss that. Dismiss that as well. Now, okay, so the general. Okay, you can have the general that's going to be doing this attack. So this will be Falcons. So Adrian's so Sev was saying, Adrian, the damned AI scouted your internet history and put it into the game. There we go. So Flux is saying, phew, I thought my warship was going to be obsolete and I was going to be banned. No, we're going to be upgrading as we go. So as we get destroyers, we'll then start to... And I might actually look to get them fairly soon. We have very, very powerful ships. We come in for the attack now. Teekins. Oh, this might be Teekins down here. And they keep on stealing our money. We should end up being able to trade okay with the Teekens. To 55,000 now. Yeah, we've got different mining stations under control, under construction here. There was some danger there. So rather than trade with these, we're going to attack. And so these guys will then just all line up. That one's got nothing on board. These will then drop when they get close enough. I'm going to go in piecemeal. That's okay in this instance. There they go. So when we have a look, they launched. They used their launchers to launch half the group. This one will then come in as well. So the initial attack is going in because we didn't have that many actual launch pods or the assault pods. It means that we can only piecemeal sort of drop them in. So we'll sort of see that this one will then sort of have to do like a second launch. If we have a bit of a look at this one at this stage, we're already doing okay. We've got space control there. And so we're going up into a continental planet, which was going to be good enough quality for us to not really have any sort of problem with fighting on this particular world. And we should only be fighting against militia as well. Yeah, so you can see their militia. They've only got a defense strength there of 60, so they don't defend all that well. So even just 2 of our forces are doing better than what they are, than the 4 that they're there. So our attack here at 144, we actually defend better at 216. So we're now attacking this particular world. This is going to then impact our reputation. You can see our reputation has now gone to -5 because independent colonies have been invaded. But we're doing the right thing here by securing trade routes. So it's not that bad. And then that eventually will then drop the other 3. This one will then come in close and drop some of its troops. Probably 2 of them. There they go. Yep. So it's now dropped in 2. Again, so we're now going to see. We now actually have the armored breakthrough, and that will be enough. So if we're concerned about the drop rate that we actually have of our forces, we need to go back and put more assault pods on, which is actually for big attacks that could be a big problem. But in this sort of case, this is not really an issue. Fuel tankers are completed. That's okay. And there we go. They're finally dropping the rest of them now. But it took a little while for them to actually all catch up. So again, more assault pods, more troops then landing on the battlefield. Colony conquered. There we go. So we now actually have this one. We'll just dismiss that. And so we now actually have this world. So Missum 1 is now under our control. And I'm going to be building a spaceport. And I want to build it in the direction that the attack is likely to come, which is going to be from this Teeken location. So it could be from here or from here. Probably more likely from the core, but it could be either way. I'll just go and place it on the edge of their systems. I'm going to place it in here. So we're going to build a small spaceport. So that will then at least give me a bit of protection against anything that does come our way. Now, with the troops that have actually landed, I'm actually happy to keep them here as garrisons. A whole lot. And that should be enough to protect the world for a little while. So the 4th is now going to go back home again. And they need to refuel. So we're going to send them for refueling it to maybe Gilgamesh. Yep, Gilgamesh 4. So we'll just move that one across. And we do actually have like different refueling stations. We can sort of see there, that little symbol there. Actually, that is a refueling station there. And what I had done there was the 3rd, I'd set that one up in a different location. I'm going to make this the home base for that. That way they will actually just sit around in here, and I will just tell them to go and refuel at Gilgamesh 4. Right, let's, we've got 67,000 now. How are we going here? We need 108,000 to do the crash research, which I would like to do. Now, Nissim 1 again is going to ultimately be a little bit unhappy at the start. They'll eventually sort of assimilate. The spaceport, and it will actually set up the Planetary Administration Center in here as well. So we have economic boost, which we don't want to do just yet. We also then have the xenophobic riots, which we don't want to do either. Now the actual troops that they have, I think, are better than ours. About the same. Defense 180, attack 120. They keep on stealing money from us. So that then is going to give us a bit more control over this region of space as this one does grow. They're not moving off. I need to start to whittle away these pirates. We're going to need a big fleet for this. We're going to need a big fleet for this as well, ultimately. So I could actually invest the money in more ships. I might do that. Let's just go back. Again, the easiest way to do this is to go to the fleet templates. I'm going to go to the attack fleet this time. I'm going to go and edit. I'm going to have 2 fuel tankers, no carriers, no battleships, no cruisers, no destroyers. 10 frigates. Might be a bit of overkill at this stage. We'll go 8, and we'll go and add in 8 of the heavies as well. So if we just go across and add an item, which will just be the escorts, I'll add in 8 of those, and that will be how we then capture using those heavy escorts. So we're going to go with the frigate. It's just going to be the frigate hull. The fuel tanker will just be whatever, and then this one is going to be the latest hull for the heavy escort back and through there. So that will be done. So there's 18 ships in that particular one. I'm now going to go across to my first fleet, which is going to be my main attack fleet, and we're going to change the fleet template from defense through to attack fleet. I'm just going to go and set the tactics as well and the advanced settings to yeah, no, that's all okay, I think. Yep, no, that's okay. And so we've now made this into an attack fleet, and now I can build a lot of these ships. So they're going to be removing the ships to match the template. It will be 1 troop transport. Now, again, I thought I could actually tweak it here. Oh, Falcons is being attacked. We'll have to watch this. He may be taken. Where are we? Reassign, very tight. We'll actually just go and top up these. It says remove the ships. Oh, hang on. What I didn't do is I need to go, but before I do that, just go back to my attack fleet again and just go and edit and change it so that we disable the trim excess ships. I'll keep that one there with it. So now when I go back and do it and do this one, it will, if I just unpause that for a second and then just go back to the first fleet, that is, the first defense fleet is going to be the attack fleet, and now it doesn't get rid of that ship. So we sort of just had to tell it that we don't want to get rid of ships from these fleets. So we're now building this one up, and that's it. So now we're going to be able to then, this is going to be really spend a lot of money here to improve this. So we're going to end up with a big fleet of ships. So Falcons, let's have a quick look and see. We do actually have, how many are attacking in here? Just one. I think you'll be able to deal with this. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, let's see what actually happens here. Will they capture Falcons? Actually, which pirate faction is it? Oh yeah, no, it's the ones that are close by. So if they do, because sometimes they will capture pirates, sorry, capture scientists. Sorry, not Falcons, it's Zaradin that's actually in there, not Falcons. Just wait and see. When this drops enough, they will then be able to send in troops. Hardly any damage back that way. It's gone. No, but they've got the... they've been able to push them back. Okay. So they've been repulsed. All right, so Zaradin lives to fight another day. So if they bring out a big fleet of ships, it's going to be a bit of a problem. All right, so the 4th is now coming back. A reputation should start to... Oh no, it's still negative 15. Yeah, that's okay. It will come good eventually. Got one angry colony. They're not super angry. Yeah, we're not going to be taxing them at all. Eventually they'll assimilate. It'll take them a little while. But they will eventually assimilate and become friendly. But it will cost us a bit to support this particular colony, but we can afford it. Actually, any other colonies that we would be wanting to settle? No, not really. None of them are good enough. Here comes the start of the new fleet. It'll take us a little while to get all of these ships assembled. What's the 3rd going off for? Repairs. Okay, so the 1st is still building up their new ships. Now the Iron Demolisher is now the lead ship. I want to make sure it was the Beacon again. And then we'll start to try to capture some of their ships and maybe destroy a lot of their ships. So once we've got this one here, we won't go after their base initially. We'll just spend a bit of time just sort of circumnavigating around that and destroying whatever we can with their ships. So we'll put pressure on. But the reason we don't want to be attacking the actual base is because there's a cruiser that will come out, and I would love to capture that cruiser. So we'll need to weaken them a lot. In the meantime, our economy is still just thumping along, which is quite nice. The 4th is coming back in now for refueling from that mining station. More frigates being done. Here we go. So this has now been set up. Let's go back to the Matrani system and just go and wait here. Let's go and get the 4th to refuel at Matrani 3. They are stealing a lot of money. Oh, the Boscara assimilation core has been encountered. So I'll dismiss that. That's going to be a problem. They hate everyone. And we don't know where that is. I'm sort of, what colour are they? So they're red. That may be them there. I should have tried to find where they were. We may still be able to locate them. Let's have a bit of a look at their messages. Where do we find them? Yeah, I don't know. Oh, there it is, up there. Okay, that's fine. Alright, that's okay. Again, it's putting pressure on the Artooks. It'll keep the Artooks and also the Gizarians from expanding too much. So this is still going to be our main focus, I think, in terms of trying to befriend. I think we'll actually try to befriend the Teekans. New escort, good. Just keep these building up. This one's under construction still. And 48% there as well. These are no longer unhappy. And the assimilation is still 0%. Growth rate is very, very slow now. Yantra 1, dismiss that. Our focus is down here now. These are all the ships coming back over to join up with the 1st Defence Force. Now this is the Artooks of sort of changing their what they're focused on. That's sort of one of their best, the things that they can then go and do. Okay, we've got a new pirate fleet in the Exodar system way over here. Okay, that's okay. Too far away for us to worry about. That's all right. Just keep these ships moving in. Still got one more heavy escort to build. Actually, there's still one more after this. Now the strength is only 771. It's not very strong, all of these ships. But the combination of them should be able to rip through enemy ships very, very quickly. If we can capture ships, we can then start to disassemble them and try to get tech that way as well. That's the reason we really want these pirate ships. So saying they actually like sending spies out to get world maps. Yeah, they just protect themselves better than other factions though, so it's a bit dangerous. So they've got the Comorancy's military junta has been encountered down here. Okay, well maybe that's them. That may not be the Teekans. That will be interesting, actually. That will probably end up being our main enemy, I would guess. The Mortlands in through there. Mortlands aren't as strong as they were in Distant Worlds 1. Let's see if we've found any other big resources. Nope, still 0 there and 0 there. And probably only got the one, yeah, only one source of Zentabia fluid. It's alright, we'll just leave that one there. I would love that world. But I think there's going to be too much action now for that. We'll see how we go. There's the final escort, I think. Yes, we've got a strength now of 817, which is not really enough to take on the full contingent that's going to be in here. But we should be able to take it on bit by bit. And we have good assault strength now. Yeah, so saying I did well in Distant Worlds 1. I assume it can be done in Distant Worlds 2. Yeah, I think so. Like if I have a quick look at the pirates, sorry, the spies, and just go and grab one of these, cancel a mission. I can sort of choose the Akdarian Outlaws as an example and then steal their galaxy map, but you can see it's very, very low percentage chance. Steal their territory map is not going to be any better, so it's just really, really difficult. If I chose, for example, the administrative clans, very, very different numbers. So I'm going to assign that. I'm going to have to move a force out here, I think. If I can claim this one here with the first, that will then really alleviate the attacks that are coming into our system. But the pirates can be such a source of research. There's a new ambassador. Now I can start to move them across into known locations. Let's just go back to this new ambassador that we've got. We've got 3 of them actually. This one here unknown. This one's unknown as well. So that's the Anoth sovereignty. Transfer there. I don't think we've got any others that we can actually then go and move to. Then it's just pirates. Yeah, taking a lot of money. Just wait for all of these to arrive. That will give them a chance for their shielding to spool up as well. Yes, I'm saying Distant Worlds 2 and most DLC and have yet to play a single time. Wow. Too many games, I know what you mean. I've got the same. I've got all these different games that when I eventually play some of them, I think, oh, wow, why did I wait so long? Like I've got a couple of war games that I've been playing this recently. I haven't really done recording on my own channel yet, but I'm just blown away by them. Just thinking, wow, these are really, really solid. Why are they stopped? Just going back to jumping again. Not sure why it stopped in the first place. Yep, we're back in hyperspace again. What I think I'll do is I'll just wait for them to go past this location, then we'll move them back into the location and just start to sort of put pressure in the Vasoko system. There's the third. They're moving off to do a raid at the Muasa system. It's a resort base. I assume once we get going in here, they're going to bring all their ships back in. There's going to be a lot of fighting going on in this in the Visoko system once we get started. Which will then should allow me, once that's done, to move a fleet up into the Yantra system just to protect the attacks that have been going in there. And getting rid of the pirates here should get rid of most of the attacks that have been happening in this region. I haven't really found any other pirate base locations. It's a big pirate group, this one. Visoko Raiders, or whatever they are. You can see there nearly 4,000 suspected attack ratings there at that point. So I do need to make sure that my fleet is cohesive when it does go in. So I don't really want to be going in piecemeal. Here they come. So we'll probe at this. I'm going to have to micromanage this myself. Again, I don't want to be attacking the base. Here comes the raiding fleet that keeps on coming back in. So that's the raiding fleet that was in the Musasa system. We have to stop this. We have a big anti-pirate fleet right here now. Now if I go for the base itself and destroy the base, the pirates will just join other factions. So that's why I'd prefer to get rid of the ships before I go after the base. And if I can capture ships as I go as well, that's going to be very, very useful. That should give me tech boosts. There's a light hauler, that's okay. That's the last one there. Alright, time to go in, I think. I'm going to go manual here. And they're only going to be attacking units very, very close to them, which is what I want. Now, if they send their full force against me, I'm going to have to run. But if I'm assuming that they'll actually it'll be on piecemeal as they go off and do their raids. So in they come, the big fleets. I've only got 2 named ships in this fleet, plus the Admiral. It's got Admiral Sev, the Beacon, and Tailsly Fox. Everything else is up for grabs. Oh, look at this. There's a raid going in right now, actually. Just as we left. That's okay. It sort of leaves... It means we can actually then at least fight what they're doing ourselves. So they've come in just as we finished off the other group. I don't know where that fleet actually is. But if I sort of zoom in, There's 10 of them. 10 pirate ships. That's all right. Now they're hyper. They can travel a lot faster than what we can. There goes another raid heading off. In fact, by having the mining stations here, we do get a chance to sort of see where they're heading off to. What serves hyper jump speed and hyper jump accuracy is good as well. That's actually fairly important, the accuracy. It just means that your ships are more cohesive when they actually leave hyperspace. That's a big bearing. Yep, here we come. Tight formation. We have a number of ships. Alright, so they're now all in here. It's going off to refuel. Refuel. Yeah, so we're going back to their base for refueling. They've got a fair number around that. What I might do is I might now just move across to here. And just try to invite them in. Oh, another one. Should be okay. Ultimately. These have swung back in again. Oh no, they're going back off for refueling again. I need to try to keep everyone together. Just get them so that at least they're all basically very, very close. Silly move. They're bouncing in and then bouncing off to refuel straight away. Take problems if we sort of stay there. Okay, so the Userines are now attacking the Artooks. Just need to do some damage here. Getting close now with the whole fleet. Here we go. Here we go. capture this one hopefully. There we go, we've got troops on board now. A bit more and more. Yep, not quite enough yet. Oh, that'll be enough, that'll be enough. Let's just keep on going after these now. So we'll just go and attack this one. And destroy what we can. That one's also been taken out a little bit. Let's go, we've still got 500 odd. So let's try to capture this one as well. There goes troop transports. To just keep these back a little bit so we have the power. Yeah, this one we've captured, so we've got this one under our control now. What we want to do here is tell it to go off and retire at Matrani 3 spaceport. Off you go. So what we want to do here is we want to get the higher level tech that they've got on board. The Jerix hyperdrives and stuff will be helpful a little bit potentially, which is what we're trying to get here at the moment. So that's all good. Everything else is looking pretty good here. That one we didn't end up capturing. Station completed. Alright, now is this one going back for refueling? Yeah, it is. Might try to capture this one. Might as well just stay where I am with it. I've only got like a small group that can actually go in there and get it. But eventually there'll be more, so we should be able to just keep it suppressed. Here they come. Offline. We just keep on destroying. There's so many of them. You know, deal breaker weapons just sort of they break through quickly. It sort of looks like we don't do much damage, and then all of a sudden, you know, we've got things actually happening. I don't mind that they're sort of coming in like this to sort of investigate and then sort of disappearing again. That one's gone. There are a lot of ships that will be floating around over here. There's a lot for us to contend with. delete what we can. Everyone's saying Army Spy. Did you actually end up... Oh, you're still there. Not sure what's happened there. It's gone. So we've got a raid coming in again. We're going to be able to get rid of a lot of ships here. You just see how long it takes for these boarding assault strengths to come up. If I can just weaken them enough, they'll fire at this one on the way in. Oh, abandoned monitoring station. So we found this one here. We'll investigate. Just missed that one. So we can fix it up if we wanted to. That is in a bit of a no man's location. Let's just go back across to our explorer ships. So we do actually have a abandoned spaceport. Where's that? Down there. Let's go and repair that one. And we'll just continue on with our fight. God, a lot of pirate ships in here now. Been a colony of humans encountered. Where are you? There, yeah. Okay, that's all right. They're sort of surrounded, but they're focused on other things. Do as much damage here as possible. Another Gizarian group found. Still more up there. And still more coming in as well. So it's just wave upon wave here. This should all be good for Sev, ultimately. Now, Living Banshee has taken a bit of damage. They're all going to move off. Yeah, so it's a sort of cascading group coming into this into this area each time. There's I'm actually looking at the time, guys. I'm going to have to make a move and get going now. But thanks for watching, and so we'll continue this one on next week again. So we do have a bit of a problem here with refueling and stuff, and also with the damage that's been done a little bit to some of these units. So what I'm going to do is probably go and refuel and repair at the Sales spaceport. Yeah, then we'll come back, I think. So I'll send that one off. But I will actually leave it there. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you tomorrow.